Talking Kootenay Books. My name is Keith Powell. I'm your host, and we're talking to Normand Gagné. Normand, you're from Canal Flats, and I have to say this show is about books and about authors, and you've sort of written your memoirs, put it together in a book. The book is called Love, Pain, and Glory, and I really want to explore the title in a few minutes. But first of all, I want an opportunity for you to sort of introduce yourself. Who is Normand?
Well, Normand is a young man born in 39, and grew in the wartime, Second World War, and in a farm. I remember we were very poor, and
where was the farm?
The farm was at Roxton Fall, Quebec, County Shepherd.
Okay.
And I remember the wartime, and the soldier come at home on the farm, and they gave coupon to my mom to keep butter or cheese, and I remember that. And my mom, she was, I can write a book that thick about my mom. She was believable woman.
Sounds like she was an amazing individual.
Oh yeah.
I understand that you had a very large family as well.
Yeah, I have eight sisters and 7 brothers. Okay. And I born in the middle.
Right.
So, in the farm, because my oldest brother was the oldest one, but at 15, 16, he go work outside. And I have 5 sisters and me. So my mom and dad really depend on me to help on the farm.
So you did a lot of work when you were young?
Yes, I tell you. I remember as I go cut corn for the neighbor with the machine, and they look at me and said, "Well, your dad is, he doesn't come." I said, "No." And I was 12 years old. I said, "I'm the one going to cut the." They say, "No way." I said, "Yes, I've been doing that since,
So you weren't scared of hard work?
No. And
not only did you cut the corn, but you were also involved in logging and the dairy operation.
Yeah, we take care of the farm.
Yeah.
My dad worked in Montreal because he need money, and my dad was, he can do all kind of work. He was, and he worked in Montreal to make money because that was, in those days, money was a big issue on the family. Like everybody was poor, and
Well, I noted in your book that you ran into a little bit of trouble early on involving a still. Can you just tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was 13 years old, and my brother have some old truck to plow the country road, the snow. And so he said, "You're going to drive the truck." I said, "Okay." You drive the truck at 13 years old. That was quite a drill.
Yeah.
And one night I drive the truck in a big storm.
Yeah.
And I see, we have an old Bedford 3 ton, and there's no air conditioning, nothing. And we have a bag of salt we put in a windshield to, we can see the road.
Yeah, take the ice off.
Yes, anyway, and I see, in the dust, I see a truck parked in the middle of the road there, and I said, "I go see the guy," and he said, "If you can drive clean the road, go to the barn," he said, "I pay you for pay." I never hear about it. My brother was poor; he never paid me for stuff he did.
Right.
So anyway, I plowed the road there, and the guy followed me, and he turned and close to the barn, and he said, "If you don't never talk about that," he said, "I have something for you." I was innocent, So he grabbed $50. He gave $50 to me,
which is a lot of money, right?
That was lots of money. Anyway, and in the spring I was working in Montreal on the guys. He paint the car. He have an outfit, and he hired me. And I was in the back alley, send the car, and I see a big car coming. I see that gentleman in the car. He have a brand new Oldsmobile, 1957, pink color, brand new. So I look at that guy. He said, "You recognize me?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Come with me. Come sit in the car." And well, I said, I have to work here. He said, don't worry. He said, you come. I sit in the car. He explained me the work he's going to give me with
Right.
my brother.
Right.
So
What did their work involve?
well, make moonshine.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a big barn, and the whole barn was full of a big back of fermentation. Yeah, and in 10 months we make 49,000 gallons of moonshine at 99%.
Wow. So everything went well until the police showed up.
No, that was way later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was way later.
Yeah.
And the time I was in that same with my brother. My brother was the oldest, but he was scared of dark. I never be scared of dark. I'm like a cat. I like go outside in the dark.
Yeah.
Anyway, and every night I go walking in the road. It was a country road through the bush, and I go check if there's any cop, and they're not parked there and watch, and come back, and my brother go. My brother go sleep in the house. Me, I sleep in a barn between two big Percheron.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Horses.
two big horse Percheron.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me. You know.
Interesting. So I'm just going to move on. I'll let people read your book and get the rest of that story. So at some point in time, you decided that you would like to move out west. That was when you were a little bit older. What year did you make that decision?
Well, like I said, I live in a farm, dairy farm in Quebec, and those days, and French is a word, he said, you pull the devil by the tail. It was no money. We sell 100 pounds of milk, $2.50 for 100 pounds of milk.
Wow.
So we struggled to survive. And I watched the TV, and they say the highest wage in Canada was the fishermen in the West Coast. And the second biggest wages, that was a faller in BC. The people fall trees.
Right.
So I looked at my wife, I said, I'm a bushman, I like that. I said, why we don't move to BC?
Right.
She looked at me, she said, I don't want to hear about it. So it take a little bit of time, talk to her. And after, a few months, she said, okay, we're going to try for 6 months. I said, Yippee.
So where did you end up at?
Well, I was very poor. I have $350 in my pocket. I have an old Buick, 1951. I buy some old tire from the mill. The mailman delivered the mail on the road, and they still have a little bit of tread on it. So I put these tires and load the whole car full right to the top. Mouse and my wife, they sit in the front, and both my sons sit between the roof and they're stuck in the back of the car.
All across Canada.
$350, and you have to cross Canada.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you arrive?
Yeah, I arrived in Cranbrook in the morning, and I met the guys there. He was from Quebec, and he was a contractor. I met his brother in Quebec, and he told me about his brother was contractor in Cranbrook. Enrique, his name was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did he hire? Yeah,
he hired me, and I left my wife and my kid at Camp Stone in those days.
Yeah.
That was Camp Stone, and I hit 3 o'clock. Come in the morning, I hit the mountain at Moscow up the White Swan.
Okay.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Right.
I didn't last very much time.
Yeah.
So I started to fall for him,
Right.
and they pay big wages.
So you worked in the forest industry in Quebec, then you came out to Canal Flats, but it was quite a bit different, right?
Oh yeah, it's different. The trees are way bigger, taller, and stuff like that. Yeah, I work in North Quebec quite a bit for Procter & Gamble's and Chibougamau, Abitibi, and north of Quebec, for a few years. And
So you're a pretty experienced logger.
oh yeah, I mean, let's say I was a bushman.
Yeah. So that takes me to my next question. I remember in 1986 I went to Expo, and I watched a logging exhibition.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until recently that was you.
Yeah, yes, yeah, and right on the bar there in the BC place.
That's right.
And we have a Jamie Patterson boat right on the side there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So how did you get into timber sports?
Well, you know, I was in Grand Prairie, work in the forest in Grand Prairie, and some guy from the camp, I was living in the camp, and they say, oh, they have a logger sport in Grand Prairie on the weekend. I said, yeah, I was always interested to go in logger sport. And they say, yeah, you like to come, Norm? I said, yeah. So I go up there. I didn't know nothing about, you know, I have a working axe and these competition axes, and you know, like a racing car, an ordinary car.
Right.
So I go up there with the regular tools, and I win the Bull of the Wood, the most point and all.
So that sort of launched your career.
Yeah. So and years later, two champions from Vancouver Island, Ron Hartel and Dick Hurling, you know, they win championship. They go to Australia, New Zealand, and then they win some championship, and they're there, and they gave a demonstration of springboard.
Right.
And I said, wow, look at these guys chopping the board there.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Ron Hartel, he was one of the top, and I said, yeah, I said, I'd like to buy an axe, you know, like you guys. And he said, yeah, Norm, he said, I have a, you know, he got an accent like him. And he said, Norm, he said, yeah, I got a good axe for you, a little RV car, you know, nice little axe. He said, yeah. And so I buy that axe, and I go home, and that was a big show in Kalispell, Montana.
Okay.
A big show. The Adams family organized that show, and you know, people from Australia, New Zealand, they came, and you know, they probably 100, 150 competitors from all over the world, because that was a world championship, 4 or 5 world championships.
How did you do there?
Well, you know, I go home and I watch the guy do this, but I didn't have the board, so I take a big spring of a truck and I make my own board with welding, you know, and I go down the hill and Kettle Flat and training for about 2 weeks, and hey, jump in the car, the Cadillac, with all my kid, my wife, and we go to Kalispell for the World Championship.
Yeah.
I've never been in a show before.
Yeah.
I go up there, and for the World Championship, springboard, I take 3rd place.
Wow.
You know, it's about 50 competitors. I take 3rd place first time, and the people on the show, they say, Norm, said, where you from? We never hear about it. I said, that's my first show.
Oh, wow.
They look at each other and say, bullshit. You know, like, and
so they had to be impressed, right?
yes, and the guys hired me to go cross Canada and the world.
So let's talk a little bit about that. So Norm, you went to some local shows, including Kaslo, right?
Yes.
And you were in Kaslo for many years?
50 years.
Yeah. So all that experience you took on the road, and you went to many countries, and you were involved in many logger sports. Tell us about some of those experiences.
You know, like at Grand Prairie, they have the toughest competition in the whole world. They call that the pentathlon. You do 5 events, one after another. In 1986, I worked at the Expo in Vancouver, and from May to middle of the end of July, I was chopping every day. So I was in top shape.
Right.
So I said, I like to go to Grand Prairie for the World Champion Pentathlon. That's the toughest event, you know. And so I asked him, we came to him, showed him in, and he said, okay, Norm, you can. So I jump in my car and I go to Grand Prairie, and I win the World Champion Pentathlon that year.
Oh, wow.
And I put a new record, never been beat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you must be proud of that.
Oh, it's, yeah.
So your son and primarily your grandsons are carrying on your legacy?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
They don't do at high scale like I did, but they do good, you know. They're a good athlete, you know. Like.
Well, Norm, I have to say you're a living legend when it comes to logger sports. So it's a name well known. I just wanted to ask you as well, beyond your logger sports activities, you also enjoyed hunting, fishing, trapping.
Yes.
So just let's talk a little bit about that part of your life.
Yes. You know, like many years ago, there was a big trap line for sale south of Cranbrook here, from Cranbrook to U.S. border. So I buy that trap line, you know, and I trap since that every winter. You know, like last year I trap. I was not much, but I trap. I cut for $1,500, $2,000 worth of fur.
Right.
Because I love trapping.
Right.
And I guide for many years. You know, I guide for at least 40 years for the outfitter.
Okay.
You know, all over the Flathead and all these guys, you know, and the Flathead and...
So you have to say you know the backcountry.
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand that you have a log house that you recently completed in Moye.
Yeah, it's a timber frame.
Oh, okay.
It's all 6x8 timber frame, you know, one
okay.
on top.
And did you build it yourself?
Yeah, that was tough, you know, like the love of my life, Denise, she have emphysema for 10 years, and for the last 6 years of her life, she was an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
And I traveling from Moye to Canal Flat every day, almost 300 Ks a day, work 5-6 hours, go back to Canal Flat, take care of my wife, cook for her, and take care of her. And that was my priority in my life, you know. And but I did it, and you know.
Well, very commendable to do that. And now you're living in Moye?
Yes, I live by myself in my house in Moye. It's not complete, but I can live in a tent underneath the tree. It doesn't bother me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so without stealing the whole story in your book, and people will want to read your book, I just want to ask you, what were some of the highlights that stood out in either your career or your life that you'd like to mention?
In my book, you know, when I hunt goat on the King Basket Gold River, you know, the end of Gold River, just below the glacier there, I shot a goat, and you know, and so I go look close to where the goat fall down the mountain, and I slip, and you know, and I slip, and I hit the sheer wall, and I hand in on a little ledge, you know, and I spend, I don't know. Today I think about it, and I said, how can I hold that situation for over 12 hours?
Wow.
I know today I know the love for my family saved my life.
Right.
Every time I was ready to give up because the pain was unbelievable, the cold and the water, and you know, like you're 2,500 feet high, and the little ledge, both my foot didn't touch nothing, and I hold myself like this, you know.
Wow.
You know, and the cliff behind me, the water drip from the glacier, and I hold that situation for 12 and a half hours.
Wow. You were finally rescued.
Yes,
Obviously.
you know, and
so Normand, I have to say that throughout your book, that's only one time that you ran into a bit of a problem. So your career in your life hasn't been without risk, and you've had some broken bones and that
23
kind of thing.
fractures, sir.
Oh my goodness.
23 fractures. I have 13 concussion.
Yeah.
One time I was 4 days unconscious.
Wow.
And every time my wife talked to me and talked to people, she said, "You know why he's so crazy?"
Well, I'm glad that you bounced back. Let's just go back to the logger sports for a moment. What countries did you visit when you were active in the logger sports?
Okay, I work in Paris and France when the Euro Disney. You hear about Euro Disney in France?
Okay.
When just before they open for the public, they invite all the media from all over the world, and we there to put a demonstration of chopping and sewing, because that come from United States.
Right.
They have the hotel, the Sequoia hotels, and Clint Eastwood with the big with a little cigar, and John Wayne, you know.
Yeah.
So we there for 20 days. We put a show for the media.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Any other highlights? Other countries that you really enjoyed visiting?
Well, I enjoyed because it was new, and we go to Santiago, Chile.
Okay.
We put a show in the big international expo there 1 year, and that was the time Pinochet, the dictator Pinochet in those days.
Right.
So we have to stay in the quarantine at the airport before we can go out.
Right.
But we put a show there, and that was interesting, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Norman, your book is Love, Pain, and Glory.
Yes.
Why did you name it that?
I have a lot of love that saved my life. When I fall, my family love saved my life. I know that. Because I have so many injuries, I have a lot of pain.
Right.
You know, like, you know, when I was in the still and I was 14 years old, you know, I fall down the cliff and the big rock crushed my pelvis, broke both my hip, broke my spine, and I still work on the still without doctor or medication. You know, I could stand in my leg for about good months and a half.
Right.
And Mother Nature healed me slowly, and you know, but
you were able to bounce back.
But that crush of my hip, my pelvis, and caused me a problem all my life.
Yeah.
I remember after I get out of the still, I was play hockey. I was about 16, 17, and you know, and I know the name, Dada Bernard, the name is big defenseman. I go behind the net, and he come and he cross-checked me in the back.
Oh.
So I hit the board, I paralyzed right there.
Oh, wow.
So they take me to the hospital, and the doctor passed an X-ray, and he said, "You have a big accident before." I said, "No." He said, "Hey," he said, "Look, your pelvis is all healed now. You see, you can see all the welding inside your pelvis. Both your hip they broke, and you have about 11 spine. They're dark because you have a blood clot when you have that accident."
Wow.
So I explained. I said, I have. He said, "With hospital you go?" I said, "No, I was in the still. Nobody's supposed to know I was there." I said, "I didn't see any doctor, any painkiller." He said, "Mother Nature do things we don't understand."
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the love and the pain. What about the glory? Where does that come in?
Well, you win. I win many Canadian and world championship in log sport. So
Right.
I think that's glory.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You see, you have to visit my house in Moyi.
Yeah.
So that would answer so many questions.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I understand you've got a number of trophies and.
Yeah, I don't know where to put it in there. I must have 200-300 trophy, all kind, you know, and elk and moose and bears and you name it.
How has logger sports changed over the years?
The tools, like anything, like car race or whatever, the tool improve and the record and chopping, they bend break every year. They could be 200 a second, you know, but then bend break, and that include the best axe, the better cross cut, and you know, the tools improve.
Logger sports is on television. Do you keep track of it sometimes?
Yeah, but you know, I don't anymore because you know, like if I see a logger sport on TV, I watch it because I love logger sport so much, and it was part of my life for so long. You can, but is one day, Mr. Powell, you have to say, it's enough.
Yeah.
You see, like
time to retire.
Yeah, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, National Geography contact me, and they want me to do they want me to go to the Patagonia, you know, on the west side of the Andes, right in the peninsula of Terra de Fuca, and you know, like they say they have a native that live in the forest, and they want me to go up there and show them how to build a log cabin because they still live in teepee with bark and stuff like that to improve their life, and I will do a reportage for National Geography, and I have to go for 6 months. So I said, no, I don't want to go for 6 months. But as the guys in Canada Flat was interested, so I proposed, and he phoned, and they say, yeah, you can.
Oh, good.
So I make a tools for, you know, I make a cross cut and an axe and everything. But he doesn't. He like to smoke Waukee tobacco, and there's none over there. So he lasts about a month and a half, and he come back.
Well, Normand, it's been a pleasure to chat with you. What a tremendous career. And I'm just going to ask you one quick question as we wrap up. What do you think of the Kootenays? You've been here for 50 years.
You know, I've been traveling in many countries in the world, and every time I come in the East Kootenay, I said to my grandson, my son, my family, I said, you know, we live in a paradise on planet Earth.
Right.
And it's true.
Yeah. It's a wonderful
Paradise on planet Earth.
Yeah.
You know, you cross the street, you're on the mountain, it's crumbling everywhere, so much freedom everywhere.
Right. It's a wonderful place.
It's the best place on planet Earth.
Yeah. Thank you, Normand. It's a pleasure to talk with you. Congratulations on your career and your colorful life. Thank you for putting it in a book form, and I think people would really look forward to reading your story.
Yeah.
So the name is Love, Pain, and Glory.
Yes.
Thank you, Normand. We appreciate you being a guest.
Yeah.
This is Talking Kootenay Books, and my name is Keith Powell.